So we're going to share the screen and let's talk about what's really going on. How about 79? Yeah. How about 79-1 on Corey Connors?
Let's freaking go, man!
There it is, and there it is.
I mean, have we been giving out the good golf picks or what? We've been pretty on fire now. A couple of our guys are struggling.
Yeah, but whatever.
We've been on fire. I mean, I don't
know, but I call it. But I mean, 3 outright bets. I'm in first and fourth, and dead. But I'll take that.
Hey, man, first and fourth and dead is a beautiful result.
When first is 79-1.
Oh, it is. That's beautiful. I love it.
So,
well, I'll be pulling hard for both of us because I've got some. So I got in. I got to just real quickly talk about golf because I got in a little bit late. The tournament had sold out. So,
dude, I'm totally with you.
I have top 50 lineups in the $5.
Oh, is that gonna tilt you or no?
No, I'll take, dude.
Okay,
it's 50K.
You'll take the 50K, I suppose, right?
I'll take 50K in golf, especially. I mean, this is not my thing, and apparently maybe it is becoming my thing. But I've got a Connors, DeChambeau, Rory, Munoz lineup.
Ooh, that's what I'm talking about.
And then it's got EVR, Van Ryn, he's even. And it's got John Huh, so we need Huh to probably.
Excuse me, and how about my 6,100 Rick Wawrinski at -1 after the day?
Oh, I know, that would be lovely to have. And I wish I would have played that guy in this lineup.
Vomit player. Why not?
Yeah.
So, dude, I'm telling you, between that and I don't know if you noticed, I had Brandon on today. We talked freaking NASCAR for freaking. I had to cut it short, man. We were going for like an hour and 15 minutes.
Oh, awesome!
Yeah, so I posted that up there. And more NASCAR. And so we got Friday, Saturday, Sunday NASCAR. Maybe sweating that. I'm going to post an MMA thing tomorrow. And if I'm going to be totally honest, Bobby, until you texted me at 12, I didn't even know there were any games today.
Cheats, I'm going to be totally honest. And I was looking at – so I have a schedule I look at. It's the original schedule. And it's thrown me off a few times. But because like yesterday, for example, the game that was played between Detroit and Toronto was supposed to be played the day before. But I had only – so on the schedule there was no games, and then I noticed one popped up. And I looked at the actual schedule, which just went to like ESPN, and I was like, what the hell? We have a full crazy slate. So we gotta figure out what to do with this. And you know, how did you end up last night, by the way? Why don't you tell the people?
Hold on a second.
All right, I'll jump in.
No, that's fine. I did well on FanDuel. My single entries, my whatever you call it. So I did actually pretty well. Like double my money at FanDuel and DraftKings. I couldn't quite get out of my own way.
We were similar places then. I literally think I cashed in like one lineup on DraftKings only, and you know, after a pretty good start, I was crushing on FanDuel though. I had Dennis Smith Jr. in 60% of my lineups, and he was 2% owned.
That's right.
So I will take the little victory lap on that one. And by the way, we're going to be going right back to that tonight. The ones but you know, you got to get all the right plays, and it was a tough slate. You needed 400 and something, and I ended up in the 360s on FanDuel mostly. So didn't quite do the trick, but it was fun.
Yeah, where I kind of stalled out was Lillard. I mean, you know,
yep,
he has a good game. I mean, I don't know how I would. I mean, it would have been quite it would have been interesting, but we got. So we got one more chance before the. I guess there's one more chance. There's going to be another 13 games tomorrow. I don't know about.
No. This is definitely the last one.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that, you know what? Maybe let's call it a blessing though. Maybe we.
Hey, is Lonzo out or something like that?
No, Zion.
Oh,
But he's doubtful.
Well,
so I have some interesting thoughts on that one, but I don't know that we need to do, other than Ingram, anything.
You know, I don't want credit for this. I had Ingram in my lineups all day long. I didn't. You know,
you can't help yourself with that 7,800 price tag. But
I know I can't.
He's the one who got me. He's the one who killed me last night. By the way,
really?
He was in some really, really good lineups on FanDuel, and he was sort of the safe play, and unfortunately wasn't so safe. So yeah, Ingram is obviously going to be the chalk play at small forward on FanDuel. Do you want to go through positions on FanDuel? Maybe start it off that way.
Because I got news for everybody here, MJV,
and end my grift, whatever. I'm in just a great mood today, and I don't know why exactly. Maybe it was because I didn't think I was going to have to do NBA, and it just kind of like carried over. And then even though I do have to do NBA, I'm still just kind of in that good mood, whatever. I mean, I'm telling you, I had a decent day in my fun. I had a couple of things go on well there. I went and I played tennis. I had my, I do an hour a week of tennis. I did that a little bit today. I told you I did the video with the NASCAR. I looked at a couple of other things. Good mood, and we got little NBA. I'm honestly not playing that many lineups.
Same here.
So I got a little hockey I'll be tweaking. So we're gonna have a nice easy day. Which who knows? Maybe that's like maybe that's the mojo you need, is to go into these slates in just a good old mood. Nothing's gonna bother me. You know what? You can even have what's his name come on. If DFS God wants to come on here and say hi, more than happy to talk to him, answer his questions like immediately if it makes him feel better. Just whatever you guys want. Jay Smooth is saying, "What's up, fellas? Let's make some money tonight." All that sounds good to me. So you want to do?
I love it. I love the happy sheets. That's great to hear. Yeah. We'll jump into basketball in a minute, but I'm not playing a bunch of lineups. I'm not as stressed about tonight. I definitely had a few too many lineups last night because I was really stressing at the end there. So I decided to keep it light today, and like you, I'm in a good mood. But it's funny. I want to just touch on something. How do you do you remind me a lot of what people, my grandfather, for example. We always say that he does in a day. Well, he did, and he's 90 now, so it's not quite the same. He does in a day what most people do in like a month. You got NASCAR going on. You got tennis. When do you find time to do all? You're fun. You're running. You got hockey going on tonight. Basketball. It's a crazy world, man.
I mean, I've always been a world class multitasker.
That's awesome.
Always, and that was like before computers, before any of it, and it's funny because I'm hopelessly disorganized in general, but I'm able to just kind of just instinctively get everything done I need to get done, and I am just incredibly efficient with my time when I spend on something, So
that's pretty awesome.
Yeah, and yeah, so FanDuel. You want to go by position? You want to do position by position over there?
Yeah, let's jump over. And guys, feel free to drop in questions whenever you want throughout this. Should be a little bit more.
Let's make myself feel better. Let's do it the way I have it listed, which is like alphabetical. Yeah. So at center, I was listening to one of the other podcasts, like the Daily Roto podcast, and they were like really just into the whole idea of fading Nerlens Noel. And I was the other day. I remember I was like just not the slightest inch, and I don't think he really did anything. He's once again popping, and now what happened is they moved him to center eligible on FanDuel, which makes him less attractive in general, right? Because you'd rather him play in a weaker position. But what do you do with a situation like this when he's projecting like so well, but he's probably going to be really popular, and I don't know what I was inclined to do was take these. You see the next two guys on my list would be I like Cantor, and then like a pivot off the pivot, maybe like a Polo or something like that. That was what I was looking at first. Again, I'm only playing like 5 lineups or whatever it is. What do you think about center?
I don't love Cantor on back-to-backs in general. I've talked about this, and for a guy who has literally like almost no steal and shot blocking upside. That's why his price is low on FanDuel, people. That's what the mistake I think we're making by chasing that kind of stuff. And I think we need to play the ceiling type of guys. Unfortunately, I think this is the perfect matchup for Noel. It's really unfortunate. I still probably am going to end up fading him I'm playing one big lineup on each site. I probably end up fading him anyway because I think you can just play Jokic and win the position, by a lot. I love the matchup for Jokic. The perception of Indy's interior defense, I've mentioned it over and over on this show. He can absolutely dismantle this defense. Now he's going to have ownership too, so I'm not getting way off the board with that one. The one take I do have is I would rather play Joe Val than I would Cantor here, and I would.
It is actually a couple of hundred, right?
Yeah, it's 200 more. Sorry, so it's
that's it. That's not bad.
200 more for Joval at 6,800. Pretty reasonable. I do like him in this matchup. I think Memphis is going to bring it tonight and play their best possible basketball. I think Jaws looked terrific in real life lately, so I like them. I'm not going to – Miles Turner really frustrated me last night. Sheets, talk about, that might have been the ultimate switch. I think if I make that move, maybe I win the tournament, because I at one point was considering, when everybody was like questionable for Indiana, maybe I do end up throwing into a McConnell lineup, because what if these guys are limited or whatever. They all ended up playing, so I forgot about it. But then McConnell comes out and has 9 steals in the first half, which has got to be the NBA record, because I can't imagine that's ever happened before. So the record for total steals is 11, which he just missed by 1. So you can play. I mean, look, for me at center, I'm going to end up with Jokic, Noel. Those the guys I'm considering are Jokic, Noel, Joval, Miles Turner. I don't like. He does actually fit the bill for someone who could match up off like offense. Like, he could have a decent game against Jokic offensively, even, because he can stretch Jokic and take him outside. But I don't think I really want to get into that. I know people are going to like Podol a little bit. Not for me. I think that's it's a good matchup. He's the minutes. He still doesn't really. He rarely plays over the 30 minutes. Maybe he gets you 5x or whatever. I don't feel like this is a monster ceiling thing for him, so he's okay. But I would rather play Plumlee than play him, to be quite honest. But I think it's going to be Noel and Jokic. And
I have them very, very similar, Podol and Plumlee. So I considering the variance that Pop, you have when you play Pop player, maybe that's wise, and that's answering JH's question. He's heavy on Podol with no Horford. It's not that you're being too cute. I think it's fine, but I think that the comparatively Plumlee's a little, I don't want to say safer in the wrong way, but I guess that Plumlee's their center. You know what I mean? Like he's gonna play.
He put up a triple double last night. In 28 minutes, along with DSJ. They both put up triple doubles in 28 minutes and under. How about that?
And that doesn't happen too often.
No, you don't see that in both of the same categories, obviously. Anyway, so I think Podol's got he had a really bad game the last time out against the Knicks. I believe he got in foul trouble early, and I think he would be where I would lean it. But it's partially because I also want to attack the Detroit with lower bodies. They are playing a back-to-back, so you can use that. But I just think personally we're better off sticking with the other guys. And the one guy who no one will play, who maybe you play in a 1,000,000-person tournament, but he's just been so bad. I could see Brook Lopez playing more minutes in this matchup, but I just don't think we need to do it. I'm going to stick with my top 3.
So again, I do it kind of a different order. So for me, power forward. Mm-hmm. So I'm just going to tell you what I'm doing. I don't know if I can get talked off of it, so don't worry about it. It's probably not the greatest idea in the world, but just go the way my build is going. I'm not going to be playing Giannis, and I can't give you a reason why to not play him. I mean, like, he's a tremendous play and a position that's bereft of fantasy points. But my build is just leading me elsewhere. I'm probably going to do the double punt thing. I'm probably going to play Roby and Jay Crowder.
First thing I did today. Yep.
Oh, really? Yeah, at power forward. And the other one that you can play also, who rates very similarly, is Bjelica. Also is a weird kind of punt. That's just what I'm doing.
Might be a better play than we think, by the way. Maybe it's Bjelica over Crowder, because without Buddy Hield in the lineup tonight, there's a path that ends up with Bjelica on the court more, and then playing a little bit big. So I actually think he's gone up in stock for me today. So maybe I do like Crowder, by the way, and I like Roby.
Yeah,
I think you can play Bjelica instead of them a little bit more comfortably than I felt at the beginning of the day.
The one place I will spend up a little bit, and I might, all right, I haven't decided yet, is maybe I'll take another shot at Boucher. So that's what I'm doing. One thing to keep an eye out is I'm not 100% sure that Sabonis is going to play today.
Let's keep an eye out for that one. That's a big deal. We'll get into that game, because there's a lot of. The only reason why, they've been struggling. They need to win basketball games, and they've looked bad against some bad teams. Are we maybe missing, if Sabonis plays, that we should be playing him?
Yeah, he's fine. I just think they're better.
I think he's going to be popular.
Oh, is he? I think that I
No, I don't think he will be.
I don't know. I just think my salaries are better spent elsewhere. Like to that end. I mean, with on FanDuel, despite the fact that you have all these guys that are kind of like good point per dollar values, like Wanamaker and maybe not that many people. I just kind of want to play the moto play here and just play Lillard and Fox. That's kind of what I want to do. So given that, it's not going to be easy to play stuff like Giannis and Sabonis and things like that. Especially considering I also want to play by Brandon Ingram, but we'll get to them in a second. But I like Lillard and Fox. Lillard's been kind of whatever. I would say lazy in the first half. That's the best way I can describe it. But then he missed everything. But even still, with playing like the worst game of the season, he's still what he almost got 40 or something. It's not like he got 0.
He's in a great spot tonight too.
So I'm gonna play both of them. And again, only 5 entries, so it's not like if I'm playing 150 lineups, I would lock that whole thing in. That's just kind of the fun that I'm going to have at 10 o'clock tonight is maybe watching these. Now, again, they both have every reason to just kind of just scale it shit down before last game before the All-Star break. But I just don't think it's going to happen. That's the best I can describe it. So I'll take a shot with that. But again, if you don't want to play those guys, I mean, you're gonna be different, right? I mean, I presume everybody's going to play at least one or both of those guys.
Yeah.
Wanamaker's going to be 40% owned on FanDuel. Is that true?
Yeah, I think that's. I honestly think that I'm sort of. I'm trying to avoid. Well, let's get over. Let's stick with the power forward because I do. Or stick to small forward because we'll get over to that one. I think.
I thought you promised me that we could do alphabetically. Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were going down the line. I thought you were going center, power forward.
I went power forward to PG. PF to PG.
I got confused there. Okay, but my bad. But because there's one more name I wanted to mention. I think I may end up playing him, and that's Bam.
If he plays.
If he plays, right. One of he or Butler, well, whichever one plays, I like. if one of them plays. And this is already a great matchup. It's an even better matchup for them now. So I definitely have some interest in that. And I'll jump over to point guard in a second. I'm going to answer a couple questions because people. So Melton is a question. What's up, WW Fresh? Melton is a question. Sheets. Man, I don't know the guy's awesome. I don't know what to tell anybody. He's awesome. I can't play guys who are supposed to play 20 minutes. You know what I mean? It's really hard on these kind of slates to get there for me. And I'm just going to avoid it. And I will fade. I don't think it's really a strong fade. I don't think anybody's going to play him. So go ahead and do it. He's put up 35 and 38 his last 2 games. But you're asking for incredible efficiency. And I just think there's better plays in the slate to answer the Melton part. But yeah, I agree with you about the point guard. I like Lillard a ton. I personally I don't care. I'm playing Dennis Smith on both sites. It's back in New York. Are people actually aware of his production, or is it going by the wayside? He hasn't played a game in New York, by the way, yet since going back.
You're not supposed to tell anybody.
What's that?
About Dennis Smith Jr. He has to keep putting up triple doubles and go 10x and let nobody keep playing him every single day.
This guy has put up 30 or more in 4 straight games. He put up 47 in the last game. What are people afraid of? I don't get it. He's an awesome play on both sides. He'll be popular on DraftKings, won't be popular on FanDuel. I think he'll be popular on DraftKings, right? Did I miss something? Is somebody else in for
no one's playing him on.
Why did all the projections? These projections are a joke. They're projecting him for 20 fantasy points. 23 fantasy points. How is that possible? Maybe it happened, but it hasn't happened.
As we like to say, well, don't forget about the second half.
Yes, exactly. They got him for halftime. It is a back-to-back, but I think going back to New York, I'll take any narrative with a guy like DSJ that I can get. So you get him going back to New York, a team that didn't want him, and all the stuff, and I just think it fits too well. Another guy who I'm very, very high on is Malcolm Brogdon. The price is just it's too ridiculous. 6,700 is just absurd.
Is, isn't it? Yeah.
He's an 8K player. He's going to put up, I think 40 more often than not in the spot. I like this game. I think it should be a good competitive game, especially if we could lose Sabonis still, like you said, and if you lose Sabonis, Brogdon is an especially great play. I think a lot of people will go back to TJ McConnell, and I'm not going to fault you for it. I would just say I don't expect him to have 10 steals again.
Yeah, I guess not.
I don't expect him to be the second highest scoring player on the slate to Joel Embiid, who was in an overtime game. I don't expect that kind of a performance.
Yeah, I'm not modeling for that.
He made every one of his shots also that he took. He had 13.
Aside from that, he was just about average, right?
Wow, I mean, that's one of the all-time games he's ever going to have probably in his life.
Probably one of the all-time games anybody at 5K is ever going to have. How about that?
That's pretty sure. Yeah, 10 steals, you're not going to see that very often.
We can talk about. I mean, you're pretty. I don't. You know what? I kind of ask you. You think has anybody that's 5K scored 70 fantasy points? I don't know.
It's happened before.
Probably has. I just don't remember it.
Dennis Smith once scored 65 for me at 3K.
Really?
And at low ownership, which was incredible. I know I won a tournament. I don't remember how big it was, but I know I won a tournament with it. I just can't remember what it was.
All right. So small forward is all yours. Good luck.
Great. Thanks, Sheets. You love to give me this one. Okay. Brandon Ingram is the near lock, I think, that you have. I think Josh Hart is the best other play.
Yeah.
And I think right. Sadiq Bey had a really rough night last night. But that game with Detroit was really weird because you had the bench guys like Magruder and Ellington playing off the bench for a change, Ellington. And they just were lights out. They were making everything. Absolutely. I mean, I think they ended the game at like 20 for 40 from three. The team, I don't think you can project for that to happen again. So I think Sadiq Bey is going to get his minutes back here, and somewhere between Ingram, Hart, and Bey. And I don't think I'm going to do anything else except for Middleton. That's the only other one.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Hart, Bey, Ingram. And Middleton, yeah. I just don't. I mean, can you find anything else here? Kawhi. I like Kawhi better on DraftKings, but Kawhi and Michael Porter, you could make arguments for, I guess.
Yeah. So more. My favorite play. I mean, just point per dollar is Kent Bazemore.
Oh, interesting. I somehow. Where is the projection on Bazemore here? Is he playing small forward? I thought he was a shooting guard over here. I guess they made him small forward.
Well, and here's one of the issues.
Why is the projection so low for him, Sheets?
Well, I got 4 different projections. You see, the one you're looking at is 15, and every other one I have is 25. So.
Oh, for fantasy points you're talking about.
Yeah.
How about minutes?
It's the same thing. It's the same derivative. You know what I mean?
Why wouldn't you play the minutes? Well, here's the thing. I think that Oubre is going to play tonight.
Well, that could be different then.
I'm sorry. That's my other sneaky play. I totally forgot about that. I biffed this one completely.
We're getting there, Jay. We'll get to Tatum in a minute.
Yeah, Oubre is. I think Oubre is actually the guy I would prefer to go with. Ingram, maybe a little bit ahead of the other guys. You get narrative along with the two of the two guys who combined for like 50% usage off the team, and you get him going back to Phoenix, who didn't want him to be a part of their team, and he has absolutely played well in these spots in the past. So I like Oubre quite a bit. And I also think that he's going to end up lower owned than he's projected. But I think your call on Bazemore is right. It makes a lot of sense. All right, so you want to talk about shooting guard Sheets?
Yeah. Paul George and your man. And Lou Dort.
Yeah, we finally get to Lou Dort is now my man. Okay. Yeah.
Who else?
So Svi is like the weirdest part is I want to point out, okay, the Svi thing.
You play Shea, you know what I mean? But I mean, like what other, cheaper guys?
Svi played 37 minutes last night. I don't think you should be playing him on FanDuel.
No, I'm not playing him again.
But also I want to point out I did end up playing some lineups, but I want to point out that he put up 25 fantasy points. It took him going 5 of 9 from 3.
Exactly. I mean,
exactly what we talked about. Yeah. Like, you need him to be efficient from the outside because he just doesn't do anything else. He had 4 rebounds and 1 assist in 37 minutes. And also those 37 minutes, I think he's going to lose some of those minutes tonight. So I think you're looking at more like 30 probably for him. And they'll probably even it out for Detroit on the back-to-back. So I'm into the Paul George idea. I think George is the play on FanDuel. I think that Kawhi is the play on DraftKings. I love Eric Bledsoe, and I hate the matchup. I just think that it's not fallen on deaf ears what they're doing with him lately or whatever it is. I don't know. I've been aware of how much he's been playing, and while his usage isn't great, it feels to me like they're trying to show him off a little bit to trade him. I really think that's what's happening. And he's put up, you look at these games, he's 5,400. He's put up 37, 30, 40, and 29 his last 3 games. But the minutes, 42 minutes. I mean, it's a back-to-back, so maybe you could argue he loses some. He's a pretty good guy with that kind of stuff. The Utah, 38 minutes, 34 minutes against San Antonio, 35 minutes against Milwaukee. Like, I just think the minutes are there, but because people are on him, I'd prefer to try and find something a little bit different. But I don't have a great differentiator at shooting guard, I guess.
No,
maybe that's just where I'm at, and I'm trying to. Maybe this is the night we get the Devin Booker spot. That could be something to do on.
I was just going to ask you. I was literally just going to ask you about him.
He makes some sense, right? He's 7,600. It's a perfect pace, good pace matchup. There is the blowout thing, which in blowouts he actually has played his best basketball because they sort of leave him out there and he gets to run point Booker because they don't want Chris Paul out there. So he's interesting to me. Yeah, I'm not in love with this position as much. One guy who's going to be completely overlooked that wouldn't have been in the same exact spot a few days ago, and I just have to mention his name, is Desmond Bane.
Wow.
He's you got minimum cost Bane. I would prefer him over Svi because I think he can get me 35 if he gets going. I think Bane and Melton
Bane could do a little more, I think, than Svi for some reason. I don't know why I think that, but
yeah, and he's going to play less minutes, but he's got the upside. To me, Bane is a very similar player to Melton. They can sort of do, they're sort of do's all, you know, they do everything. So that's just my take on that. You guys, should we just answer some of these questions here? I think there's a few of them.
You can look at them as I have to update my Zion.
Okay, I'll go through it. All right, are we going back to DSJ? Yes, we are. Heavy on Podol with Horford. No, you're not. It's not for me. We already talked about that one. I guess I forgot about that. Good to see that everybody's popped in. WW Fresh is in here. We got what happened with Jay Smooth that I missed? I see a congrats to Jay Smooth. He's the winner. He had a good night last night. Good. Love it. QQ, Saban Lee went 8x yesterday, but 20 plus same plays as – okay, that's interesting. So Saban Lee, I actually thought was an interesting play yesterday. I mean, I liked all of Detroit. And I do think he's going to be sort of ignored here. I don't know how we can play him at point guard at 4,700 on FanDuel. On DraftKings at 45, still only point guard eligible. I'm mostly siding with DSJ as my point guard, and he really is. They really have just split the minutes between them, and he's played less minutes on the back-to-back so far. So all things being considered, and it also is DSJ's return home, or whatever, not return home. It's return back to New York, which gave him away.
Everybody gave him away, right? I mean,
well, no, not at all. Actually, the Mavericks sure didn't give him away. They got Porzingis, you know. He's only played on those two teams, you know. So that's where I'm at with that one. I just think it's like the Saban Lee thing doesn't feel. It definitely, I like the idea of trying to get the Detroit guys in there, but like Saban Lee is like 300 less than DSJ, who's going like there's just way more reasons to play him, and shouldn't be playing those guys together. Quickly, I mean, look, they're not playing. Quickly's minutes have not changed at all. Basically, I actually think he might be playing less with Rose out, to be honest. And Elf is probable. Elf got upgraded to questionable, which I'm treating as probable. We all know Quickly's a game, and this is the kind of matchup maybe he could thrive. But I don't want to play him over. Like, I mean, who are we playing him over at point guard? Like, we're playing him over DSJ, which seems kind of crazy. We'd be playing him over. I mean, there's a lot of good point guards out there on FanDuel, especially. I just can't see getting there too quickly. Maybe on DraftKings we could talk about. Maybe he's in play on DraftKings a little bit more as a long shot tournament play. I do think he can get there, but I think there's a lot of guys that are going to get there. So just getting there is not enough. You know what I mean? Last night everybody got there in multiple of my lineups. It doesn't mean I win any. I mean, I won money on those lineups. I didn't win money overall because everybody is going to get there. There's just too much out there. All right.
What do you think about DraftKings?
Okay, so let's talk about DraftKings. Oh, just real quick, Bane's revenge. It's not my kind of revenge, but because they're short of bodies, I don't mind it. Just because they're short on bodies. Robert Williams, I think it's a reach. I understand how awesome he is, and that he's like a fantasy point per minute stud. He ain't cheap anymore. Robert Williams. He's now up to 4.6. Projected to play 18 minutes. Hasn't played more than 22 minutes in a game this season. has been unbelievably awesome, and he's awesome. I like him a lot. I think he probably gets there for you, but to use up your center spot at 4,600 for a guy who's only going to play 20 minutes feels, again, it's a big slate. I just don't feel like it's optimal, but I actually think he's like an interesting, really, really large field GPP play, really large field. Like, I don't think you want to do it in like a 500, 600 person tournament personally. But he's been great, so I can't fault you for it at all. Question: what do you think of Jalen tonight on DK? I didn't actually get to any Jalen sheets. Am I missing that? Because I had that come up earlier. Somebody was talking about how they like Jalen quite a bit.
Somebody was asking me about Tatum also. Well, what about? Well, let's talk about.
Toronto doesn't play defense like we. You know, it's funny is they especially right now without Van Vliet, who's an awesome defender, and Siakam, they really just don't play defense. I mean, we saw Detroit lit him up last night. They blew him out at home. I mean, whatever in Orlando home, but. Yeah, I think the Boston guys are in play, but probably not going to get there for me personally. That's where I'm at with that one. I think we're ready to go for some DraftKings stuff. So let's talk about some DraftKings. I have to finish my builds in the next 10 minutes.
Let's talk about Brad Wanamaker. How about that?
So Wanamaker, I think we play on DraftKings. I don't think we should really be overthinking this one too much. He's minimum. He's the minutes. He's actually been good in the minutes this year. Even was like sneaky good for Boston a couple times when he got chances last year, but he's had good games here. And it's not like we're just missing, Steph. You're missing Draymond too. So both their point guards are out. So that makes Wanamaker, I think he's just he's a hard guy to fade. And in my limited lineups, I am not going to fade him on DraftKings. I will fade him on FanDuel. I think Svi is much more in play on DraftKings because, again, with the same downside of that he has to hit threes. The threes are actually obviously worth more on DraftKings, and he's 3,100, and you can do whatever you want if you want to play both those guys together. So I like Svi a little bit better on DraftKings than I do on FanDuel.
And are you going to try to jam in like all the studs on DraftKings?
So you can do it. I'm tempted to sort of not. My favorite play might be and it has to do with ownership, obviously. I don't think Kawhi is going to get the ownership that he should, and I love him in this matchup. So I want to spend for Kawhi. I want to spend. Who else do I have in my current lineups? Let me just see real quick. I have Kawhi very high up there, obviously, and I have. Look, I still like going back to and overpaying for Lillard a little bit, or whatever you want to call it. God, it's really DraftKings is going really slow. I'm trying to update my screen here, and I just can't get to it. I like Giannis. I do like Giannis. I like Ja. We didn't talk about Ja Morant on FanDuel, but I do like him too.
I like those other guys. I just kind of talk myself into those guys.
Yeah, I get it. That makes sense. But yeah, I think it's Giannis probably has a big game here, and it's a great matchup for him. I actually like one other guy who no one is going to play again, and I just will say that the minutes are wrong, as they have been for the most part with him, and that's Brandon Clark.
He's really active.
Bodies. What's that?
He's very active. I like him.
Yeah, he's great. I mean, he's been really good. He put up 36, 31 the last couple of games. The 36 was in 20 minutes because they were up by like 50 points. I think he's an interesting play at 5,300. So I also like Bledsoe at 5,400. I like Josh Hart a ton at 4,900. I've got a good exposure to him. Bielitsa at 4K. There's a lot of good value out there. So we're trying to hammer the best possible ones. And I like some of this 5K-ish value. I keep mentioning the New Orleans guys. I hate the matchup, obviously, with Miami in general, but they play fast no matter what. And Zion being out, that guy basically, that's their offense, And then Ingram at 8,300 is going to be really, really popular, which I think is what partially keeps the ownership low on Kawhi. But I do like Ingram as well. I just think that if I'm playing two big lineups tonight, I think I'll stick with Ingram on FanDuel and probably use Kawhi over here as my small forward. I do think that there's a path for Westbrook here. If you want to run it back in that spot, I mean, he basically always gets there. That's the excuse I have for him. And Rob White's matter. But I think I would have him prioritized less than the other spend ups. Just he's a little bit below Jokic and Giannis especially, and Lillard is getting to the point where I love Lillard in this matchup, but at this price, I mean it's pretty rare that he outscores Jokic and Giannis, and he's going to have similar ownership to them, I think. So I might look elsewhere from that. I'm not really interested in Sabonis and Randall at their prices over here, although I expect them to do fine. I'm trying to find other spend ups that make sense. I think De'Aaron Fox without Buddy Hield now is a strong play on both sides, but again, there's a lot of good guards. Paul George I prefer on DraftKings. I don't love the spend ups outside of Joker and Giannis. They're my favorite spend ups, and a lot of these high 9K guys just aren't doing it for me. How about you?
Yeah, so I just did another run with Hart with Zion out, and I just want to make sure that nobody except for Hart was picking up like whatever, and Hart becomes a much better play than that I thought beforehand.
Yeah, it's an unfortunate matchup a little bit because I'd like to get involved in that game, but I don't love this situation with Miami, and also we don't know who Miami's even going to play. And I guess what we should address first is who are we playing in these first two game sheets, because we're going to have late news that's going to change everything with Miami, with all these teams. What are we doing with Toronto?
I had a construction question for you first. Can you play Hart and Ingram together?
Hart and Ingram together. Yes, absolutely.
Okay.
I especially like it if you're going to throw a Miami guy in, but I know you're not high on that. It is a little weird that that Kyle Lowry's not going to be owned tonight. Don't you think?
Kyle Lowry?
I mean, he's 8,400. It's a little higher, but you still have all these guys out. I mean, that's a huge amount to make up for. And we got a great game out of Norman Powell. I don't see why he wouldn't be great again tonight too. But I don't know that I need to make these plays. And honestly, the way that they looked against Detroit last night, it's hard to even believe they'd be in the game, but they probably will. And then I think Baines is a kind of an interesting, just on its. I mean, he's probably going to play 24 to 30 minutes. He's 3,900. It's a good matchup against the Boston Bigs. We've attacked that a few times. The pace won't drive him crazy. The guy I keep coming back to on Toronto, maybe it didn't work out last night. Maybe we just go right back to Terrence Davis as a high upside cheap play ahead of Svi. I think there's a good chance on a back-to-back that he could get some more minutes. But again, they do have bodies. That's the one thing. Like it's not like they're playing with about eight guys. They're playing with 10 guys. They did a pretty good job dividing up the minutes last night for most of them, not for a couple of them. And it's like we said last night. Like I mean, Boucher, who everyone for a minute was looking like he was going to be 60% owned, but then when he wasn't starting, no one wanted him, so I wanted him. But I don't know. I guess I would still rather stay and wait than play this first game. I had to talk with that myself through it. But are you finding yourself with any Toronto?
I wasn't. The only guy I was thinking about is Boucher.
Okay. I think Powell is another one you could think about, but I don't think that I don't think I'm going to end up doing it. So I guess on that point, maybe we shouldn't do it. But
you brought up a guy on FanDuel. I mean, in general, that I wasn't going to play, but I almost want to is Morant.
Yeah, he's cheap.
Is he?
7K, right? 32.
He's 76.
Oh, he's 76. I don't mind it. 76 and 78, which is it's funny because if he was 7K, everyone would own him again. I mean, he's coming off of the monster game against the Wizards. I know it's the Wizards, but Milwaukee will play fast, and his biggest problem before that was blowouts. Yeah, Milwaukee could blow them out. That's possible, but I have a feeling that Memphis plays strong in this one. I really do. So I think he's interesting, kind of, but I do want to go back to just real quick the first two games because those are the decisions we have to make right now. The Clippers and Washington. All I'm playing from this business is Kawhi on my main lineup.
You prefer him to Paul George, huh?
He's a better play than Paul George, in my opinion. He also is a small forward eligible instead of shooting guard, and there's lots of guards value, which we know. That's my take on it. Paul George is coming off of. Well, it's not a back-to-back actually because they played that game in Boston. I was a little surprised that Paul George didn't have more assists in that game actually because they do run a lot through him even with Kawhi. I think Kawhi's the stronger play, just because, I mean, if nothing else, you could just look at positions. And also I'm playing two big lineups. I've got Paul George in one and I've got Kawhi in the other one. I feel pretty good about that. I don't think I want to play them together, but it wouldn't be the worst thing in the world in this matchup. You'd obviously have to probably you try to run that one back with Westbrook or Beal. I would prefer Westbrook. I actually think that, I mean, it's funny because Westbrook has to get the Patrick Beverley stuff tonight. That's tough, and all that. But he actually plays better in these kind of matchups. Like, the more someone comes at him, the more he just that just fires him up even more. He's had really, really good. He's had some mixed games against them, but he's had some monster games and monster series against Beverley in the past too. So I think but I still think that for the first two games, I can take some relaxation and know that I'm probably only playing those guys. By the way, Ntilikina and Elfrid Payton are in, so that takes quickly off any chance for me. I don't think that we need to. So I don't need to edit much right now with my lineups. Now that I look, because I really only have those guys in my lineups. You know what I mean?
I'm trying to find a way to play Giannis on FanDuel. One of the things I did was I replaced Lillard with Brogdon, but I can't find the 1,000 elsewhere, because I'm already all the way down to Noel at 50, and I'm 2 down there. I want to play Ingram and Hart. George, there's nobody really that great at 6,800 at that position. And obviously, I'm as low as I can get on Dort. And then if I drop to Fox, I mean, who am I getting?
Yeah, I'm 100 away from my Giannis over here. I'm struggling with it too a little bit. Let's see.
I mean, you know who I could play? Oh, I can't even get there. Yeah, I can. I could play Lonzo.
I like Lonzo. I just like him in general. I like everybody on their team in general because of the usage. But again, it's not the ideal matchup you're trying to get. To me, also the excuse you can go with if you want to, and I know this is not your favorite guy to play, but you can play Middleton over Giannis on FanDuel pretty comfortably.
But then now this line has got 3 Pelicans. Now this says
yeah, that's a little. That's I don't think
Lonzo, Ingram, and Hart all against Miami. Ouch. But if I want to do that and run it back with Bam, and not play.
What about Bam, by the way? This Bam play might be that could be like a monster play. I'm kind of into that, Sheets.
Then we can get back up here.
Ugh. I'm stuck between a 2v2 between Jokic and any of the lower end power forwards.
Is Bam even playing?
And we don't even know if Bam's playing, and we have a monster slate, and we're still considering him. Okay, well, for the first game anyway, all I'm playing, I know that, is Paul George on FanDuel. For the first 2 games.
I'm trying to make this work. And then I could pay up now at center instead of Noel, and I can get to Valanciunas.
So yeah, I've got
It says no chance.
I'm playing Jokic on. I think this is the perfect kind of slate to play Jokic, in my opinion. Now, Giannis, you can make the same argument with the power forward spot, but I think Jokic ends up lower owned than Giannis for one thing. But the power forward, I like the spend downs, and I'm starting to lean Bjelica a little bit over Crowder, which feels a little uneasy to me for some reason, but I can always change that. There's a late game, and I can do other business and whatever with that. I'm going to take a quick look and see if there's any more questions, because we are coming up on having everything ready, and I'm pretty close to being ready. What ownership on Murray? Got a feeling he goes nuts. Well, Jamal Murray is not a guy who's in play for me. But look, there's always a chance. It's not a good matchup. But he sometimes goes nuts. But I just don't like that play. I do like Murray in general, but I mean, look, we were playing him when he was 6,800, and there's a lot more. He could have a bad game and get 35. Hart at 49 on DK looks great. I agree. I like Hart. Is 2021 first a good deal for Claxton in Dynasty? Okay, that's a tricky question. The 2021 first, a good deal in Claxton for. I think that might be a little thin. It's a good draft. I don't know. I do like Claxton though. I would take it if I were you, James. I like Claxton, but I think you can probably find a guy who might have more upside in the future. Although Claxton, I don't know. It's close. What about Gary Trent? Not even on the radar as far as
Gary Trent. Wow.
Will play the minutes. Basically, you need a guy who can put up 40 fantasy points and at 5,700 in these days. And Gary Trent has played 1 million minutes in every game and rarely hits 30. So absolutely not even in play for me. But I completely see it's a good matchup. It's the premium matchup, actually. It's probably as good a matchup as there is in basketball, sort of a shooting guard. I'm a little surprised. No, we don't have more Kings standing out as awesome plays.
With Buddy Hield out, you mean?
Yeah, we also have Halliburton out.
Yeah.
De'Aaron Fox the answer might be as simple as that. I also don't think that these systems have updated. Have you got updated projections on them?
Hold on, I didn't really notice one way or the other.
You didn't notice that?
Let me just finish this.
Okay, do your thing. It does feel wrong. Like everything I look at, it doesn't make any sense.
Well, who is going to get the bump? I mean,
for
the Kings, Bjelica already got. He's getting a little bit of. He's popping already, right? What do you want to play? I mean, Corey Joseph might play 35 minutes. It might be a better play than Svi look, he's not the most exciting guy either to roster on these slates, but just throwing it out there, I don't know. All right, so now what I'm going to do.
I think that Fox is probably a better play than we're treating him on FanDuel, especially, but on both sites.
Yeah, certainly a good play.
I'm sorry, I lost you there for a minute.
No, I said, yeah, he's certainly a good play. I have no issues.
Yeah. I just don't know how to get to him exactly with doing the build that I want to do.
Well, you can't have everybody, right?
Yeah, I know. But Sheets, I want to. Come on, let me complain a little bit about it.
Yeah. Back in the day, there used to be a band called the Rolling Stones. They said you can't always get what you want, but if you try, sometime you just might find you'll get what you need. So
there you go.
Maybe you can't get all those guys. Maybe you'll get just enough that you need. How about that?
I'm really interested to see what happens to this Miami situation.
Well, now that I've got Bam in the monster, I'm going to forget to check, and then he's going to –
that Bam play is so sick if it works because he's going to have no ownership. Maybe they'll be able to adjust onto him at the end, but I really like that play. Yeah, I'm coming off of Ja on FanDuel just because I think Fox is too good of a play.
He is, right?
Yeah.
We got 10 minutes. Oh,
plenty of time.
I thought we were running out of time for a second. We got 10 minutes for nothing.
Middleton, Ingram. Boy, oh boy. Noel. All right. Who's your other we have there's some I need another cheap shooting guard on FanDuel. You can hear by my frustrated noises.
Shooting guards on FanDuel? It's Dort.
Other than Dort, I already have him. I'm double punting.
Oh.
I have my other guy who I mentioned. Who was that? Oh, well, Svi, obviously. But there was another guy I had at 3,500, Bane. I actually can't. I actually need the 200, so I'm gonna play Bane. Wait, I'll tell you what, though. Every game, every day, it feels like two guys from Memphis go completely nuts at least. So maybe today is Bane's day.
I'll tell you, man. I was watching, and I was watching Ja, and God forbid that guy could ever shoot.
Man,
he would be like starting the All-Star game 10 years in a row on his way to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then again, I mean, that's what makes he can't work on everything growing up,
Damn it! I was gonna lock in on both sites, Dennis Smith, and now I'm starting to have some second guesses on this one.
Yeah.
He's 5,500. I mean, look, there's just a lot of really good point guard plays, and I feel really weird not having.
Wait, where's he 5,500
on FanDuel?
That's tough.
Why is it tough though? Like,
well, I mean, just because I just like the plays, I guess, more than you do.
No, I love the plays. That's the problem I'm having. But
no, I know I love the Fox and Lillard.
Yeah, I don't feel as much of a need because look, I think there's. I know this sounds crazy.
What about Brogdon too? That's a good play.
But like the one thing about Dennis Smith is he legitimately could outscore Lillard. Like it's not like he is a guy who you're trying to get your 35 and he might just get 35, but he has like 50 fantasy point upside every time he's on the court. And I don't think people are going to play him. I just don't think on FanDuel anyone's going to do it.
No, I don't think anybody's going to play him on FanDuel either.
All the 8K range guys are awesome. That's why I don't think you need the Lillard thing if you don't feel it necessary to go there. Want to make her in one lineup, whatever. Not my favorite play in the world, but I'll do it. Yeah, I like this Jokic thing. I feel pretty good about siding with Jokic on FanDuel and Giannis on DraftKings.
Jokic. I didn't even know he's playing tonight.
Jokic? Oh, baby.
I don't think I got to him in any lineup. I mean,
if you look at the centers on FanDuel, it's pretty fun.
True. That's true. Well, yeah, I'm so excited about Nerlens Noel.
No, it's pretty fun to play him, to play Jokic, I'm saying, because you look at everything else and you're like, oh,
no,
I could play Noel, I could do this. And I'm like, why not just take the 60 fantasy points from Jokic?
Yeah.
I'll do that. I would like to run it back a little bit with the Giannis thing.
Yeah, it would be nice, right?
Yeah.
Boy, I may as well just throw in the Giannis. Why not?
Why not? It's funny how Middleton gives like it probably is even like it might even be, well, I don't know if it's probably a flaw, but it might be a flaw. But that's how I treat Middleton. I was like, oh, I could just play Middleton instead of Giannis on FanDuel, which is not like they're the same player. It's kind of silly, but likely one of them usually puts up a solid game here. Obviously, I mean,
what time is the Heat game, by the way?
The Heat game is at 8.
Right, so there's a chance we find out about Bam before 7:55. Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
Okay.
I feel good about it. I feel good that we'll find out about Bam.
Great.
And it won't be while he's not on the court or something.
It'll be both of them out. It'll be Bam and
exactly. Out. I'll tell you what, I'm really going to be in trouble. I'm playing in my big one. Maybe that's a mistake.
What?
I'm playing over Middleton. I have the money for Middleton, but I'm playing.
Are you playing instead of him?
I'm playing Oubre, who's not even guaranteed to play. but I got another hour. I can decide if I want to change.
Yeah.
It. And I've got the pivot lineup and all the smaller stuff with Middleton instead.
Okay, let's do this. I'm going to prepare a little bit, so I'm going to see who I have in my FanDuel. Let me just make sure this stuff took. Kawhi is starting. That's real big news. Let's see. Okay,
I'm glad this time it wasn't just announced that he was sitting. Like they said he wasn't starting the other night. They didn't even announce he was out. Is
that what happened?
Yeah, it drives me freaking. And they didn't. But they announced it 5 minutes after the game locked anyway, so it didn't matter. But
okay. So I don't think I'm going to be able. I'm going to have to try. Like if Bam's out, like all these other guys that become in play, I don't know if I'm going to be able to.
I think I found my answer.
I don't know if I'm going to have the patience. Oh, you know what? I lied. I do have Jokic in 2 of my 3 lineups on DraftKings. this is such a fish lineup. I can't believe I did this. I play Jokic and Lillard and Giannis in the same lineup on DraftKings,
That's okay.
along with Dennis Smith Jr. Let's go.
Oh, I like. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's okay.
And then it's Punt City, including your favorite Seacom Deboya, 3K. There you go.
Oh, wow. You went for the Demboya play, huh? We had no
3K.
starting, right?
3K.
He did what?
He's 3K.
Yes,
It's 3,000. That's 3,000.
I can confirm.
3,000.
Yeah, it's pretty
Oh, the
thin.
good news is I only have one. I only have one lineup. Oh, Bam is out.
Oh, great.
Bam is out.
Jimmy Butler is in. So I'll tell you what, Jimmy Butler is an awesome play. I'll tell you that right now.
What channel is he on? I mean, what position is he on FanDuel?
Small forward.
He's small forward.
Okay.
Bam.
I think maybe what I'll do is I'll play Fox on DraftKings. I'll get much lower ownership on him. Yeah, I like that a little bit. That makes me feel a little bit better about how I'm building. Stanley Johnson, they've got it. How many minutes you got him for?
Oh, I can't do that right now.
Oh, okay.
I got to figure out this with 3 minutes. I just want to make sure there's nobody I need for 3 minutes. I think I need Boucher now.
Are you playing any Rodney Magruder?
No. Should I?
He put up 37 last night.
Oh, who cares?
He's 3K.
Oh, he's 3K.
Forward
Oh,
eligible.
what do you do about Hero?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what do you do about Hero?
You don't play here. I wouldn't play Hero. I mean, he's
That has
fine.
nothing to do-
What?
That has nothing to do with Bam necessarily?
Well, no, but Butler's in.
Right. Okay.
Butler was out and Bam was in before. That was the reason why we were playing Hero before.
Okay.
I mean, these Detroit guys, it feels like you're playing like spin the wheel or whatever. It's like it's freaking hard to figure out. I mean, Ellington put up 36 last night also, and he's 3,400. The only guy who didn't was Demboya, your guy. The only guy who didn't get there.
Can you really play Butler in 9,500?
Oh, yeah. He's been putting up 50 every single game. Is he 95 earlier? I thought he was 92, but still, I think, yeah, you can play.
I mean, on FanDuel.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. I think you can play. Powell, Crowder.
All right, good enough for me.
I have to finish this off real quick, and I'll be out of your hair in a second. Anything else you noticed in chat? Last second questions?
Hart, Ball, and Butler, Shea. This has no chance. This is winning. I like it. All right, very good. In the chat, Bam is out, someone said. Jimmy is in. Now I got to lock in Jimmy, somebody says. Oh, DFS. Oh, wait. This dude doing questions today. Wow. Oh, I didn't see you earlier. Shoot. Did I miss it? Oh, man. Do you have anything for me, DFS, before I leave?
What?
I did say earlier that I was in a good mood, and I would answer all of your questions if you got here. The DFS fantasy god.
Oh. I don't know why you love to love everybody who rips on me. Like it's kind of funny. Paul George is out.
What?
Fuck that.
Is that real?
Yeah.
Was that game starting in 2 minutes? 1 minute?
Yeah. It's a fuck. That's a joke. God damn it. Had the easy swap to Devin Booker. God damn it. And I even tried. It's so annoying. That's really, really frustrating.
Now, what just happened?
What?
So what just happened?
So George is out. We're done. Those lineups are dead. He's
And that's
50% on FanDuel in the big one.
And that's me.
And it's me too.
That's amazing. For what reason?
It's disgusting.
For dizziness. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later.
All right. Good luck, everybody. It's really a disturbing note, and I'll be in Discord if you want to hit me. Good luck, Sheets. Have a good weekend, bud.
Okay.